Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Today is it's Wednesday, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff that has been happening. Didn't stream yesterday. Nothing happened yesterday. Today, a lot of stuff happened, so we're going to be getting into all that. Spoiler alert: we'll be talking about a school shooting, another one by transgenders. Let's go. We'll also be talking about the visit of Netanyahu that was planned for today. We finally had it. We'll be discussing whatever was discussed. And we will also be talking about some comments from Pam Bondi, Scott Bessent, Keir Starmer, etc. We'll get on to all of that when we touch upon our news. And a lot of bills and acts being passed. Except for the more important one when it comes to market structure bill. So we'll get into all that in tonight's stream. We'll first do our technical analysis, so let's get into that. Welcome. Hi, Greg Crypto. Happy Wednesday to you too. It says I have a short position. I really don't. It's the bonus position that I had written down. I wrote it down a couple days ago, and I said I better not forget to open or use this bonus. Well, here it is, using a bonus, and despite the fact that we had economic data today, non-farm payroll data, the volatility was much to be desired. We didn't really get a lot of movement at all, really. It's only been decay ever since I last left you guys with a decent target at 77,000. No longer possible at this point. Right now, that target, it's looking like, well, downtrend invalidation happens at 73,000 for the price of Bitcoin. The current price right now is $67,468. I entered at 68,000 for a short position just because I already am long. And I mean, what do I gain if this thing stays long, if the price goes up? Not much, unless Bitcoin actually manages to cross 80,000. So at that point, I decided I'm not going to do anything with it. Just going to open a short position and try my luck. If it does make money while going lower, sure, I'll make a few pennies off of that. 94 cents literally right now. When does this position close? Can I know that? Does it tell me like a timer? It's usually like a 24-hour position close. And I would have bet on a different asset because, of course, altcoins, I mean, look at Aptos dropping a nice 7% today. Would have absolutely done it on Aptos. The thing is, I couldn't. I literally, there's no option to switch to bonus mode unless I'm blind. I literally don't see an option to switch over to bonus mode. I have to go to like the main menu settings. And I don't like this, by the way. Bad feedback for BitUnix. No, Whoa, hold on. BingX, not BitUnix. BitUnix is okay. They're great. Might switch over to them at some point in my life. Maybe soon. I'm just clearing up some stuff on an old account that I have there. Some terrible positions that I'm too embarrassed to show. But, yeah, anyways. Trying to clear that up first, and then maybe I'll do a switch over. Bit of a format change, right? Bad feedback for BingX. I don't know how to switch assets. This is not the switch assets mode. None of these buttons will make me switch over to a bonus position if I wanted to use it in a different asset, right? So I had to go to the rewards screen, click on use now, and it will immediately go to Bitcoin and say, look, here it is. You want to go long or short? This is your only option. It's on Bitcoin only. I don't know if that's on purpose or if they, with this new UI update, they completely disabled that or forgot to enable that feature, whatever it is. So yeah, whatever. I had to go short on Bitcoin, whatever. Pika Pooch, welcome. So, yeah, right now, that 77,000 thing I talked about, no longer valid. Looking at 73,000 for the time being. And toward the downside, of course, the 60,000 still remains as a support level. We really haven't done much. Like, price has not really moved. Do you think this is a price movement? It's really nothing. And like I said, left much to be desired. So, okay, let's move on to a different one. Ethereum. Similar deal here. Supertrend also on its way down. Dropped to 2,177. Also hasn't really moved too much. 1,957 is the current price. Current support is at 1,750 approximately. Basically where our double bottom we would expect that to be. And then, of course, my worst case scenario being 1,500 to 1,600 for Ethereum as well. I don't know about this, honestly. I have a feeling that it's maybe going to lean toward the downside more rather than the upside, because if we do get some movement toward the upside, the downtrend lines versus where the super trend line is right now, there's so much of a space of difference difference in space, right? If we were to like rise and break out of this, sure, you get the uptrend right here, and you'd have your uptrend line drawn something like this, right? It would be a short-term one, but how far could you really rise on Ethereum? 2,400 max before you actually meet the true downtrend line? And then what? You just completely invalidate whatever super trend you had going on over here until eventually, I don't know, price starts making a lower movement from there. Maybe it's just a macro lower move overall if prices are expected to continue dropping, since we are indeed in a bear market. So, I don't know. I feel like whatever, you know, if we do get any green super trends anytime soon, I'm not sure how much I would trust them, honestly. Because of a greater downtrend line that's coming up, like, immediately after. It could be a bullish signal, of course, if we, like, break out with a lot of strength and we just ignore all of these resistances and shoot up to 2,700, for example, on Ethereum. I really don't know if we can, though. Tom Lee said ETH will be at a perfect double bottom if it hits 1890. 1890? Why 1890? Oh, this one. Possibly. I feel like we will go lower than that, though, if we are to make another bottom. It's probably going to be retesting the same low that we made over here. 1,750 is what I would look for. That's what I think for it. On Solana, same deal. Like, the level that I'm looking at is 91. If we do break out of that, how high can we truly go? 106 before meeting this downtrend line itself. I don't expect too much of a great movement from it either. And once again, the double bottom would be basically where that support level is at 67. So current price is 79. It's just doing its thing. It's just slowly decaying. I have some other news on Solana. One is bullish, one is bearish, and I'll let you guys decide which one you want to run away with. We'll get to that in the news section, though. Yeah, you're quoting Tom Lee. He spoke today in HK. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Tom Lee, though, he's too bullish. A little bit too bullish. Like, I like the optimism that he has, of course. God bless him for that. But honestly, like, the predictions that he's been making are always a little bit too bullish. It reminds me a lot of Young-Kun Kim. Might have a high IQ, but man, the guy is just wrong in all of his calls in the crypto market. Just goes to show, you don't got to be a smart guy to be successful in these markets. You just got to get lucky, really. All you got to do is make one right move, and if whatever precious gem you are holding on to skyrockets in price, there you go. Oh yeah, he ruined you thanks to his bullishness. Dude, he's done it to all. Any retail investor that listens to the guy, I mean, yeah, he's got his millions or billions, and he is, you know, buying into Ethereum, but it's like, why? Like, I understand Michael Saylor, it's Bitcoin, sure, and MicroStrategy, of course, will recover when Bitcoin does recover. That's a guarantee. That's my stamp of approval that, yes, that company will recover, guaranteed. But in something like BitMine with Ethereum, you're holding, what was it, 5% of Ethereum supply? What is 5% of Infinity? Okay, great. He's also always, you know, going on these shows, talking a lot of optimism for ETH's asset, but like, what part of that is just like trying to convince other people to buy as well, so he can, of course, enrich himself? He's predicting ETH at 7,000 by, I don't know, end of month. Some crazy predictions like this, which, yeah, it kind of can happen. The money is there, the liquidity exists, it can happen, sure, okay. But I mean, Bitcoin's going to have to make the big move first, right? We're going to have to see some form of an all-time high with Bitcoin, 150, 170k plus, before we start seeing any rise in Ethereum afterward. And then the altcoins, of course, will follow. They have lower market caps, especially right now. A lot of altcoins super oversold, expected in a bear market. But when you get all these billions of dollars flowing into it, you'll get like huge returns, higher returns on those altcoins. But of course, the interest does have to come back into the market for retail investors. So yeah. Okay. Moving on to Hyperliquid, staying strong. Oh, barely. I just realized we dropped to, what is this number, 28? Yeah, $28.29. I was hoping we'd stay above 30. I mean, we kind of are right now, $30.60. And this was a support level either way. Super trend is still, you know, alive in the green. Maybe this is the lower high that we're expecting. I'm hoping so, at least. I don't get how MicroStrategy gets yield. I know, it's all complicated. He's got like a lot of companies like Strife, Stride, Strike, whatever the other ones are called. A lot of different companies, but it has to do with like how the loans work or something like that. And he just keeps taking out loans to buy Bitcoin kind of deal, but he has like a dollar reserve to pay out his dividends. So he already has the dividends ready, the yields, already prepared until the year 2028. And it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to be paying out dividends to our investors up until, I think it's 2028, something like that. It's not really from holding Bitcoin. It's from USD reserves that they already have, from what I know, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to guarantee that I can pay my investors up until 2028. And where do you expect Bitcoin to be in 2028? Lower? No. Of course, you're going to expect Bitcoin to be a lot higher. And the guy has 600, 700,000 Bitcoin. For crying out loud, the guy's going to be richer than ever. And that's the game plan, of course. Obviously, you're going to sell off some of it eventually to, first of all, take profit. And then continue paying investors after 2028. And paying back a lot of the loans, if you so choose to do so. So I think that's part of Michael Saylor's playbook, right? Sounds like a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure he'll do fine, though. I am still DCAing into MicroStrategy as well. Now kind of because I have to. I'm just... My average price, of course, as everybody else's, if you've been DCAing, is at a high price for MicroStrategy. So, I mean, yeah, any chance I can, I'm still just DCAing at these low prices to lower the average price. And also increase exposition, of course. It's not a big position either way, so I'm not concerned over it. I'll be fine. And I did good in, like, not putting too much crazy money, because I also tell my friends this, like, who wants to start investing, they see me, what I'm doing, and they're like, hey, man, how do we get started? I want to buy this darn Tesla stock. I'm like, no, dude, relax. First, you want to start off small, like literally very small, like actually painfully small. Why? Because you're going to be wrong. I can guarantee you, my whole bank account, that you will be wrong when you invest in the market. So when you are wrong and the market dips against you, you can start taking advantage of you being wrong. You kind of want to be wrong in that sense. And if you're right, great. God bless you. You've made money. Although it's probably not a lot, but depending on, you know, how severe the case is. In my scenario right now, I did start off small and I'm now DCAing. I do have some available liquidity to DCA at these low positions, increase the buildup at these low prices, because I was wrong for entering way before. Maybe I'm still wrong right now and the prices continue going lower. I'll just keep buying more. That's not a problem. I do have a source of income finally, compared to what I was a year ago. Although a year ago I just had a lot more money just because the crypto market in general was a lot higher. But now I've lost a huge chunk of it. So it's fine though. I know what to do. I'm rebuilding. And one day I shall rise again with bigger biceps and hotter women. And a lot of money too. Don't forget that. That's what we're here for. All right, Sui, 90 cents. That's sad, dude. $1 resistance, 78 cents support. Still slowly heading lower, respecting this downtrend line. That's beautiful. This is poetic. I think we are going to drop to 78 cents with Sui. I don't expect a big rise toward the upside for it. What we do need, of course, is a breakout of $1. That would open up plenty of room, of course, to actually rise. I don't expect it to be higher than 150, though, if we actually get a huge move like that. Oh yeah, dude, and no chores, of course. Do not forget that. When I'm rich and famous, I'll just pay someone to do my chores for me, right? That's the beauty of money. What else we got? Chainlink, $8.35. I have some news on Chainlink I'll get to. It's nothing too crazy. It's just, you know, overall, Chainlink great, and don't forget how important it is. Support still at 729 is what it says. If we break 918, can bring us some room for this week at least, to rise maybe up to 1154. I doubt that kind of move is going to happen though. What's the catalyst? There's really nothing. Non-farm payroll data was today. It was really underwhelming. So, a bit of a mixed feeling from what we got with the data. I'll talk about the data soon. I'm almost done here with this. BitTensor 149. Wow, we are just dropping mercilessly here. Our bottom was 142. Do we even hit a lower bottom than this before? I mean, October 10. I guess that's where our next target is, at 134. At least on my chart, that's what it shows. Yeah, I was expecting BitTensor to make a lower low this week due to the positioning of the support level compared to whatever wick we got on. What even happened here? February 5th? I don't even remember why we crashed that day. It literally makes no sense. But yeah, that's just part of life. Same deal with Aptos. Was expecting a lower low, and that seems to happen soon. At 87 is where we're expecting it. Current price is 93. The bottom was 90. So expect 87, lower low. Currently resistance, downtrend, and validation at $1.09. $1.09. And Monero. I really want to start buying Monero soon. Like, really. I'm realizing how important privacy tokens are. Like, actually. Like, Bitcoin is great and all, but it's... Okay, I don't know how much I want to talk about this because it's crime season. Nobody can track you in Monero, and that's the beauty of it. And I really want it. I really want it. People do seem to understand the importance of privacy tokens. I mean, okay, I guess you could explain the $800 rise over here because of Zcash devs resigning, sure. But I mean, overall, even before that, when it was both of them, Zcash and Monero, and other privacy tokens, Dash or whatever it was, all of them rising in tandem, people were realizing indeed how important privacy tokens are. This is just a prolonged sell-off due to exhaustion of the rise, profit-taking, dumping, whatever the case is, and also we're in a bear market. Newsflash, I know that's crazy. Regardless, though, Monero made an all-time high January 14 when Bitcoin was making newer lows at that time. Actually, no, I think Bitcoin was like at almost 100,000 at that point. What day did I say? Yeah, literally this day, January 14, 98,000. You know what? You got it at a good time. That's the good stuff about it. Should I just close this position? Take a 94-cent profit. What is even the point of this? Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having my back against market volatility. So useful. So much recovery that I'm making. No, but at least it's something, of course. I cannot really blame. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the market. So let's get to the news. For my own timestamps. Here we go. Let's go. I finished numbering all the episodes, by the way. And I was indeed correct. This is episode 369. I completely forgot to mention that at the beginning. Just goes to show how irrelevant the episode numbers are. But it's cool to keep track of the numbers. So, wow. If you take all my episode numbers and combine it, it's like I've been doing it for just over a year now. Lovely. Okay, so we got great jobs numbers, says Trump. Far greater than expected. The United States of America should be paying much less on its borrowings, bonds. We're again the strongest country in the world and should therefore be paying the lowest interest rate by far. This would be an interest cost savings of at least $1 trillion per year. Balanced budget. Wait, minus balanced budget? Is that what you mean? Plus? What? Wow. The golden age of America is upon us. Let's go. Golden age. Okay, so what were the actual data that came in? Well, that's not what I clicked on. Traders are betting on cuts, on Fed rate cuts. What is the wording of this? Traders cut bets on Fed rate cuts after U.S. job growth came in above expectations last month. Let me get the actual chart open. So we're really not expecting rate cuts, but also we kind of needed this. We have strong economic data is basically what it is. Here you go. And Trump is praising that, but he's still calling for rates to be cut. Which, sure, that's fine. We're still looking at 2 rate cuts for this year. Nothing much has changed in that sense. And the first one is going to happen when Powell gets out of office. Kevin Moore should come in and start cutting some rates. That's at least what some people are hoping. So the numbers, that's what I want to find, because I'm just basing those off of nothing. Okay, that's actually impressive. So last time we added 48,000 revised data, by the way, all the time we're revising data. It's almost like this data that we're being fed is fake. But anyways, we were expecting 70,000 new jobs to be added. We actually added 130,000 jobs. Unemployment, better than expected. Lower unemployment, 4.3%. We were expecting 4.4%. So that's good for the economy overall. Yes, US dollar strengthens. Markets are fine, jobs market is fine, no need for a rate cut. But you would be expecting me to say, but we want this economic data to be bad. We want unemployment to rise, and we want less jobs added so that the Fed can cut rates so that more money can be added to incentivize, jobs, hiring, whatever, and also more liquidity. The money printer turns on, and that money will eventually flow into Bitcoin. The money already exists, guys. It's not coming into Bitcoin right now. Something more needs to happen. And then all that money can flood in. What is at the gates of that? We don't really know yet. Could be the market structure bill that we're wanting. Could be this darn war with Iran that will never happen. But we had a visit from Netanyahu today, so we shall see. It could be that. But also, I mean, we were also in the middle of fears of recession. That's another thing. A thing I would blame the bear market on is fears of recession. So we want the economy to be strong. We don't want the economy to be weak. Otherwise, a recession will just be worse off overall. So I feel like having good economic data this time around was kind of needed. Sure, we can take one bullet and then, we'll be fine. The next data can be bad. At least we know we're not in a recession type market, right? Jobs are doing okay for now. Or maybe that's cope. I don't know. So that's what I see for now. Lovely. Hey, Dean. Rug pull today. Was this... Did I expect this? Caught you off guard? Really, I did not look. But when did jobs data come out? 8:30. We really got nothingness data. We had a bit of a relief rally because, yay, no more recession, until ultimately, the 10 a.m., close to 10 a.m. manipulation came in and kind of dumped all the rise later on. I guess that's came after the realization that we're not really pricing in a rate cut immediately, which people are just too greedy. Relax, dude. We're still getting 2 rate cuts this year. But yeah. In terms of rug pull, I don't think so. Really not a lot of movement today overall. So I'm kind of underwhelmed by the movement, to be honest. Unless you're talking about some other asset. Yeah. Chad Jeets, hey, Binance pumping Aster. Oh, again. Long live the CCP. Long live Changpeng Zhao. Indeed. Are they actually doing that, dude? Oh my gosh. Aster. Oh yeah, there you go. 7% rise. They really want you to pay attention to Aster and divert attention from Hyperliquid is what it seems like. When did this pump happen? 11 a.m. Hey, well, there you go. Take advantage of the rise if you can. At least this thing is not in a downtrend for the time being. Just watch out against... That guy's a real rug puller, okay? So watch out for that. That guy, CZ. I always call him Binance. Where did my favorites go? Everything just disappeared. But Hyperliquid, it's still up 5% overall today, but that's just because it had a drop instead, so we're kind of recovering from that. It's still held strong. This is fake, by the way. I did not buy this. That is just a lie. Why are you... Oh no, I'm looking up. This is not Bitcoin. What? What is this glitch? Oh my gosh. Alright, there we go. Weird. Yeah. Of course, in the long run, I'm sticking with Hyperliquid. I don't trust Aster. Sorry. It's good, I guess, for trading. If the volatility is there, if the attention, right, is there, the interest, then yeah, go ahead, ride it, trade it, go for it. Bet on a long or short, but for long-term investing, yeah, that guy's going to be rug pulling you guys, so just be careful. Moving on. Pam Bondi talked, she had, I don't know, she talked about something today. I didn't pay attention. But she was asked, I guess, stuff about, oh, the economy bad. And she's like, what do you mean economy bad? Look at, what did she say? Look at the Dow Jones, look at the S&P 500, almost 7,000 points, Dow Jones all-time high. This and that, everything is rising so much. Meanwhile, our promised crypto president is just doing nothing for our little cryptos. We're all down like 50% on everything, on Bitcoin alone, right? So, God forbid you look at the rest of the market. It seems like she's diverting attention from a lot of the stuff. People accuse her of like, look, economy bad. She's like, no, look at good side of economy. Okay, how about this? Epstein files bad. And she's like, no, look at Irina Zarutska, who died from a stabbing at a train. Who cares about all this talk about Ghislaine Maxwell? Did it really say Ghislaine Maxwell? That's funny if they did. It's Guillen, but anyway. She will hopefully die in prison. Wow, wishing death upon people, huh? Okay, of course, fair enough. She's done bad stuff, but let's relax now. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of attention diverting from Pam Bondi. She's got to go, man. I agree. She's not doing the best job. She's been caught lying. It's not great. Yeah, the Epstein files are on my desk. Oh, Epstein files no longer exist. Oh, here's suddenly 3,000 of them, and we're not showing the rest of the 3,000. Did you guys see that you're now allowed to, members of Congress are allowed to book an appointment to see all the Epstein files unredacted in an enclosed environment? No media allowed. You're not allowed to take pictures, videos, none of it, and I'm sure you're not allowed to talk about it later on as well. This is all thanks to Thomas Massey Rokana, who we talked about in the last stream, about how they were able to view some of the unredacted files, and well, they reviewed the most famous files and said, yeah, there's about like 6 people who they're in high power and they should be, something's got to be done. So far, nobody's been arrested for the Epstein files other than Ghislaine Maxwell, which that doesn't count. That's an obvious one. Give us the sauce. Give us the Lord. What is the guy's name? Lord something from England, which is good friends with Keir Starmer, and Keir Starmer knows all about this. Lord Mandelson, I remember his name. He stepped down in the UK, and well, people were calling for Keir Starmer to also step down. Seems like he will not. He says, I will never walk away from the mandate I was given. I will never walk away from the people I'm fighting for. I'll never walk away from the country I love. Dude, the guy's country's full of Muslims. What are you talking about? Everybody in the comments disagrees. I'm not alone. Thank you. Moving on. All right, so Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from Israel visited the United States. I think this is the 6th or 7th time. Trump says, I've just finished a meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel and various of his representatives. It was a very good meeting. The tremendous relationship between our two countries continues. There was nothing definitive reached other than I insisted that negotiations with Iran continue to see whether or not a deal can be consummated. If it can, I'll let the Prime Minister know that will be a preference. If it cannot, we will just have to see what the outcome will be. Cough, cough, the outcome is going to be war. Last time Iran decided that they were better off not making a deal, and they were hit with a midnight hammer. That did not work well for them. Yeah, there you go, literally. Hopefully this time they will be more reasonable and responsible. Additionally, we discussed the tremendous progress being made in Gaza and the region in general. Why is the region capitalized? There is truly peace in the Middle East. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Dude, I said this at work today. Just goes to show my brain has been rotten by Trump. Thank you. I literally, was speaking to somebody about, okay, well, their personal business matters, guys, okay? And then at the end of the call, I was like, hey, thank you, John, for your attention to this matter. Hope you have a great day. And it was, yeah, see ya. And I'm like, wait, did I just say the Trump thing at the end of my call? What am I doing? The calls are being recorded for quality and training purposes. What am I doing? Anyways, it's just funny. I do collections, basically. So I collect on debt. I have to call people. I've done it before. I've done it for like 4 years beforehand, especially during COVID. It was great to collect from people who weren't working. So that was fun. But then, you know, my office moved far away from me and COVID was over, so there was no longer work from home. And they wanted me to go to the office that was 2 hours away from me. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this every day for minimum wage. So I quit, and then I did the crypto stuff, and then I made a lot of money with the crypto stuff, and then I lost a lot of money with the crypto stuff. So now I'm back, but with a different office, a literal competitor agency, which is so funny. But yeah, I'm back there and still minimum wage, although minimum wage has gone up since then. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm pretty sure that means it's a bad thing, but yeah, it sucks. It's whatever though. Can't find a job anywhere else. It sucks. Yeah, and people slam on the phone on me all day long. That is true. But I'm nice. Like people actually like my tone of voice with them. Dude, I don't know how much I should say. So a lot of my coworkers they're not from Canada. They have their accents and no disrespect. I mean, I'm sure they're great and all, but like I've noticed the customers tell me they're like, "Oh, it's finally nice to speak with someone who's Canadian." I'm like, yeah, because I don't have the accent, right? That's why. Hey, it's not me, man. It's them, okay? Not being racist. Don't want to lose my job. Relax, you know. It is what it is. That's just what yeah, literally. It's India. There you go. Confirmed. Thank you. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. So, yeah, that's my work. That's true. Yeah, no one likes them. Oh, man. Yeah, but yeah, like I'm okay with it. Like I understand the product knowledge now. Like I feel like I'm doing fine. It's just that like it is a bit excessive though. Like the calls are like just no rest. It's back to back to back calls. I mean, fair enough. We're like more of a first party collection, so and it's a big company too. So yeah. Hey, thank you. No earnings. Also, I wanted to address this. No earnings are ruining recently in tech. That's true. Good earnings, but still dumps in tech. Yeah, I saw Microsoft has been going down quite a bit. I've been DCAing into that. I saw Intel, I think, also just deleting a lot of its gains that it made. All its progress is just now gone. Although I think overall it's still decent. Let me find these darn tech stocks. Overall, like NASDAQ itself, like without going too far, it's just down. Is it NASDAQ 100? Yeah. It's not that bad, but it's like, I mean, we've seen better days and we haven't made an all-time high since October. We're close in January, but come on. What's with the drop over here? But anyway. Yeah, moving on. Back to Israel. So more stuff is coming out of this. After this meeting, I think this might have been before the meeting, Venezuela sends oil to Israel for the first time in years following the capture of President Maduro. Okay, well, there you go. Oil for Israel. Maybe that's why we captured Venezuela. Pentagon prepares second aircraft carrier for deployment to the Middle East. I think this is just a symbolic move. Again, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump ended their meeting 20 minutes ago from that post. So, yeah. Can we just go to war already? Or get a peace talk in? I don't know. Do something. Get it out of the way. I don't want to talk about Iran anymore, dude. They're interpreting the deployment of the second American aircraft carrier to the Middle East as a definite step towards war. Yeah, you're taking it the right way, of course, but no, you're not taking it the right way. How do I say this? The move is to intimidate Iran, like, hey man, we just had our meeting with Israel and here's another big boat coming your way, so you better negotiate. But they're like, hey man, if you're going to do that, it's going to undermine the ongoing negotiations. We're not going to accept that. It seems like, again, they're just prolonging this thing to, I don't know what their plan is. Just outlive Trump and then continue their regime. because I feel like they're at a critical point where it's at right now. All right, Pika Pooch, have a good night. I'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in, man. So that's the Middle East for you. What else do we got? Trump and Xi Jinping are expected to extend their trade truce at the summit. I think that's happening in April. When is the summit happening? Yeah, literally this. Dude, can we get a subscribe for that? Like, that is insane. How does my brain remember all this stuff? I literally said April. Literally not scripted event. Okay, I promise. I guessed that right. There we go. What else do we got? A lot of stuff on Canada as well in terms of tariffs. So, well, here's the same rhetoric that Pam Bondi was using about the Dow Jones, S&P 500, whatever. Trump sent a clear message about what happens to the career of members of the GOP in Congress who vote to undermine the president's tariff authority. Trump posted this on Truth Social, saying any Republican in the House or the Senate that votes against tariffs will seriously suffer the consequences when it comes to election time. And that includes the primaries. So he's already laying down the hammer against Republicans. You're going to see a lot of rhinos, right? Republicans in name only. And what this has to do with the Supreme Court tariff ruling, right? Part of it does, at least. So he also says our trade deficit. This is why tariffs are good. It has been reduced by 78%, Dow Jones hitting 50,000, S&P 500 hitting 7,000, all numbers that were considered impossible just 1 year ago. Hey man, I also thought that Bitcoin at 67,000 was impossible a year ago, but here we are. So I mean, we're getting impressed in both ways. In addition, tariffs have given us great national security because the mere mention of the word has countries agreeing to our strongest wishes. Tariffs have given us economic and national security, and no Republican should be responsible for destroying this privilege. Not long after the House has wasted time on something they don't have a supermajority on, rendering their power against Trump's veto ineffective, and passed it. What? Now it will head to the Senate, but it will flop from there. If there's one thing we can count on, it's Thune. John Thune, I think, dragging his feet on everything known to man. Trump also posted this about Canada, which we will transition to. No pun intended. You'll see. Canada has taken advantage of the United States on trade for many years. They are among the worst in the world to deal with. Wow, thank you, man. Especially as it relates to our northern border. Tariffs make a win for us easy. Republicans must keep it that way. The members of the GOP have a tough lesson and career shift in the near future. Washington, D.C. is and will continue to be the most corrupt city on earth until we start kicking out the protected class. Okay, Republican-led U.S. House passed legislation aimed at ending President Trump's tariffs on Canada, signaling a growing anxiety over the White House's economic agenda ahead of midterm election focused heavily on affordability. Interesting. Interesting. So this was, yeah, one of the big things. Okay, well, apart from this, the U.S. passes a bill to end President Trump's tariffs on Canada. And we also had this stuff happening, I guess, which is kind of relevant. The Save America Act has also passed the House of Representatives, which would make you prove citizenship to register to vote. Photo ID at the polls. Voter ID will take effect immediately, and mail-in ballots must have a copy of your photo ID. In my opinion, this is good. This should have been a thing for a long time now. Did you guys see how Kamala Harris disapproved of this? It made no sense. It's like, yeah, you guys should be supposed to be providing like your ID, but in a way that's not racist or something like that. It was so dumb. Like, how does that make sense? Relax. Okay, so that's one part of it. We also had John Kennedy's bill that was signed by Trump to stop sending checks to dead people. Of course, the fraud with the Social Security checks. It's expected to save billions of taxpayer dollars. Yeah, that's good stuff overall, too. So credit where it is due. Now, this thing with ending the Trump tariffs on Canada. I already read that post. Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, says tonight the U.S. House of Representatives voted to end tariffs on Canada. An important victory with more work ahead. Thank you to every member from both parties who stood up in support of free trade and economic growth between our two great countries. Let's end the tariffs and together build a more prosperous and secure future. People are saying, can Trump veto this? Yep. So if the bill passes House and Senate, Trump can still veto the bill, which means that it could be a nothing burger. But I mean, this is something that we still talked about, a couple of days ago. I was like, okay, the Democrats introducing this, I do kind of support it. I kind of don't want tariffs to exist between Canada and the US. Sure, put tariffs on everybody else. On China, who cares about them? Put it on China, put it on literally any other country. Just not between Canada and the US. Come on now. We're supposed to be the greatest allies. And that's another thing that I'm critical of Mark Carney's government for doing, is avoiding the United States and going to, I guess, Europe. And I mean, even going to the other extreme of things, to China, which Trump has completely condemned, that negotiations that has been between Canada and China. So that's another issue. But I mean, this is maybe a step in the right direction, and it took the Democrats, I think, who introduced the bill to kind of push it through. Obviously, some Republicans did indeed vote for it, which Trump, of course, again, has been critical of. He kind of doesn't want this to happen because he feels like the tariffs on Canada should be there for a reason. What the reason is, I don't know. The first time, he gave the excuse that it's because of the fentanyl that's coming in. There's really not a lot of fentanyl coming in from Canada, is there? Am I wrong for that? They're saying it's coming from China, and then it goes to Canada, and then from Canada into the United States. And same thing with Mexico. I agree with Mexico being the bigger problem in terms of drug trafficking, right? But come on, Canada? Maybe there is, but it's probably not a lot. So yeah. We'll see what comes of this. All right, this has been in the news as well. Another transgender mass shooting in Canada this time, in British Columbia. So, at Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, there was a school shooter identified as 18-year-old. I swear they're changing the age, the name, and the gender every post. I've read like multiple posts being a 17-year-old transgender. Sure, by transgender I mean male or female. Like, what even is it at this point? I'm sure it's a man to woman. Or boy to girl. I mean, you're under 18. The name is Jesse Van Root-Sillar. I also saw another name called Jesse Surge or something like that. Surge? S something. Definitely not this last name. So I'm confused. I don't know who the person is. The police had visited his home multiple times over mental health concerns. Say the line. He was on our radar. The suspect in the Tumbler Ridge attack, 18-year-old Jesse Van Root-Sillar, has previously been visited by police several times in recent years due to mental health-related reports. He had dropped out of school 4 years ago, and then he decides to go and shoot it up. Nice. Before opening fire at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, killing 6 people and injuring at least 25, Van Root-Sillar allegedly killed his 39-year-old mother and his 11-year-old stepbrother at their home. So they were the first 2 victims, and then he went to the school and did the massacre. Later on, police found the suspect with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities say that he was born male, but identified as woman. There you go. Police said the motives remain unknown. Oh, come on. Are you... Relax, dude. Of course we know the motive. You got brain damage. Sorry. The Tumbler Ridge school shooter who killed 10 in Canada has been identified as, there you go, 17-year-old trans Jesse Strang. There you go. That's the other name. Which one is it? Is it 18 or 17? And is it Jesse Strang or Jesse Van Yeah. It's looking like, I don't know. This was like earlier news report, like breaking news, so they might have gotten some details wrong. But now that we have the official details that have come out, like speeches from like actual federal agents, then I guess we know the actual story. There you go. Started transitioning at 15 and was prescribed heavy SSRIs. I don't know what this is. I'm sorry. What is this? Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Antidepressants, commonly used to treat depression, anxiety, or other mental health conditions, increasing serotonin levels in the brain. I don't know what a serotonin is. I've never had depression, so can't relate, dude. It's literally this. Like, you get sucked into this rabbit hole as a transgender, too much time on the internet. Yeah, and then you get results like this. I mean, come on now. I'm going to go through these posts here. How far should I go? Oh, there we go. Yeah, earlier photos circulating online were incorrect. So we had a bunch of like different cases. People thought it was this. This is not it. Yeah, there you go. At least 10 dead in British Columbia school shooting. Suspect has been found dead. Yeah, we saw a lot of these posts. A lot of sad stories, right? A lot of children also with like all these gunshot wounds in the hospital. It's terrible. So, of course, praying for the victims and their families. The alleged Tumbler school shooter, yeah, earlier photos were incorrect. A student says he and his classmates pushed tables against the doors and stayed locked inside for more than 2 hours during the school shooting, trying to keep each other calm while waiting for police to escort them out. That's like, dude, my heart goes out to these people, man. 10 people, including the suspected female shooter. Relax, it's a male. They were found dead in the high school shooting in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, with victims found at the school and a nearby home. One of the deadliest attacks Canada has seen in years. New photos surface of the trans-Canadian school shooter, grinning with rifle years before the massacre. Yeah, we know about this. We know about that. Resurfaced photos posted by his grandmother show the shooter as a teen, smiling on a couch while holding a rifle. Did he use this to... I don't know what the weapon was. If it was this, dude, a bolt-action rifle, I think. Come on now. I mean, a gun is a gun. You're gonna die to it either way, but okay. He was born biological male. Approximately 6 years ago began to transition to a female. Well, that counters the whole started transitioning at 15 narrative. It was way earlier than that. And you still look like a man. Sorry. Police had visited the fam multiple times, yep, due to the mental health concerns, yep. Firearms were previously seized, but returned after the owner petitioned to get them back. 8 dead, one of the deadliest mass shootings in Canadian history. And we do indeed have one of the strictest gun laws in the world. Matter of fact, we literally had a buyback program going on not so long ago. Even the Toronto police opposed this. They're like, dude, what are we doing? Get rid of that. But then, like, later on, 1 month later, the Toronto police were also found to have been corrupted by... What was it? Like, they're doing these hitmen type missions for, like, dark web payments or something like that. It was something crazy going on. Yeah, crazy world we live in. Can't trust no one. People have found Reddit accounts of this person being active there too. What is this? How old was this post? I don't know, but there you go. Jesse Boy 347. Guess who Jesse Boy 347 is? It's literally the school shooter. How do I stop comparing myself to fictional characters? Okay, well, there you go. Talking about chest growth, talking about anime, talking about being cute, being 2D, body shape. All right, dude, too much time on the internet. Relax. It was 3 years ago, apparently. Redditors are on r/voshv. I don't know what this is, dude. Just goes to, I'm happy I'm not on the internet for too long to understand what this stuff is. But yeah. They posted this 3 years ago. That's crazy. So yeah, stuff like that has been found. Oh, I closed the wrong tab. Got another one. People on Reddit are trying to censor the fact that the Tumbler Ridge shooter was trans. Yeah, a lot of censorship happening on Reddit already. The moderators of r/World News are deleting every post about the trans Canadian school shooter. Interesting. Even the Toronto Star official Reddit account posted about it, and they removed their post. Toronto Star is like a actual, like, think of New York Times, think of Reuters, think of Bloomberg when it comes to Canadian news outlets. So that's impressive. They even found this guy's Roblox account with a one-to-one, at least they claim it's like a one-to-one map of a mall in Canada where you can just go and just shoot people. So, I mean, the signs were there. The signs were there. And why is this allowed on Roblox? Like, what are we doing here? Apparently they deleted the guy's account, and they also, after a lot of backlash, also deleted the game. There's a mall in Canada with the same name, but doesn't look like to be the exact same one. You see Sephora there. Something and row. Yeah, dude. Alright. This is what your children are playing. So, yeah, there you go. Another mass shooting, transgender. Nothing new. But of course, praying for the victims. No, it's terrible. Okay, moving on. Scott Bessent. Moving on to crypto now, finally. He says that Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill needs to pass this spring, adding that we need to get Clarity Act done and that he is optimistic for it. Did we not have a hearing yesterday about it? Whatever happened to that? Market structure. I really think there was nothing that came of it, because markets did not move at all. Do I have to type in bill? Bill. What do they even talk about, dude? We were pleased to spend over 3 years working on the market structure bill in the House. This is old news, old news, old news. I really don't think there's anything. Or is it like, what do I have to look up? Senate Banking Committee? I don't even know what I'm looking up here. That's not it. That's not it. There's some stuff like literally recently. House hearing on policies impacting housing and borrowing costs. This has nothing to do with crypto though. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot that's happened at all. Alright, unless I'm looking up the wrong stuff. What else do we got? Crime season is back. So, former SafeMoon CEO Braden Caroni has been sentenced to 100 months in prison for stealing millions of dollars from customers. He must forfeit $7.5 million, surrender properties, and pay restitution after a major fraud that defrauded over 1 million SafeMoon investors. Do you remember that one? I kind of do. SafeMoon. That was funny. How many years is that? 8.3 years? 8 years in jail. Alright. It's more than Binance CEO. CZ. He only got 4 months in jail. Remember that? The 4 meme? He's holding up the 4 fingers. 4 more months. 4 more days in jail. 4 more days until October. I used that as my thumbnail. I went back and reviewed my old streams and I saw that. I was like, dude, what was I doing? What else we got? FTX, former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. So, I don't remember if I covered this, but he wanted to, like, have another hearing on his whole case because he says, oh, it was because, you know, I was put to jail under Biden's regime where it was very anti-crypto, so I'm a victim. Please reconsider me. And everybody is like, no, dude. You stay in that jail cell with P. Diddy because you deserve it. So now he has filed a, what is a proceed motion? Seeking a new trial, claiming key witness testimony was missing from his fraud case. He's currently serving a 25-year sentence over FTX's collapse. The motion was reportedly submitted by his mother. Oh yeah, his parents are huge advocates on trying to get their poor little boy out of jail. They've even requested a personal, on a personal level to Trump, like, hey man, please reconsider, please pardon Sam Bankman-Fried. It was the parents that were pushing for it. And Trump's like, no, I don't think I will. Even when it comes to CZ from Binance, when Trump pardoned CZ, he didn't even know who CZ was. He was like, oh, well, yeah, you know, my sons, they're very much into this crypto stuff. And they said, oh, Dad, you gotta pardon CZ. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know who that is, but I'm gonna pardon him. And then, I mean, clearly he's done research on Sam Bankman-Fried, so who's worse? I still think Sam Bankman-Fried's worse. At least CZ is funny. This is why Solana is failing. Solana is no longer an investment. Let's hear you out. Okay, ChatGPT responds. Here are actual numbers for how many Solana tokens were in circulation about a month ago based on recent on-chain supply data. Circulating supply about a month ago was 566,191 500 Solana tokens. And now, February 2026, it's 566,545,100. So the difference is roughly 353,000 Solanas. The supply roughly increased by 350,000 Solanas over the past month. If each Solana costs $90, how much does each cost? $80? Dude, I didn't even realize. I'm so out of touch with Solana. That's a $28 million type inflation on its overall market cap. And it's not a big market cap. I mean, it's a big one. Like, it's billions, hundreds of billions. Oh, not even hundreds of billions anymore. 49 billion. And we're adding $28 million, maybe, on average, per month. The inflationary aspect, unfortunately, is there for Solana still. To get it to newer highs, or even to number 3 as it once was in the past, you're going to need a lot of money for that. A lot of market cap. I love how we're still in extreme fear. Dude, can we just get out of the fear zone for once? So there's that one issue. At least you have token burn mechanisms in ETH or BNB. That is true. Which L1 has no inflation? Zcash? Yeah. Stellar? Yeah. I mean, kind of. So Zcash, it's got Bitcoin tokenomics. The inflationary aspect is there to an extent. And also Zcash is dead now. Nobody's going to buy it. Stellar. I kind of agree with Stellar. VeChain, I don't think so. Hyperliquid, kind of. And, I mean, really, it's this. It doesn't matter if no one's buying it. That's just basically true. Regardless of inflation or not, if nobody's buying your token, who cares? Who cares if it's inflationary or not? It won't go up either way. Yeah, but this is per month. Okay, so there's that. But on the bright side of things, at least Solana is the leading blockchain when it comes to payment platforms and total payment volume growth. People do prefer to use Solana for their transactions, which is great. 755%. I don't know what this is measuring, but okay. It's more than Binance, more than Ethereum, more than Tron. And what even are these? Adyen, Fiserv, Block Inc., and then just PayPal. Do we really trust this? Payment platforms and total payment volume growth? Okay, when it comes to growth, maybe, but like not on average, I wouldn't say. I don't know. This is the Chainlink news I had for you. Bank of England has picked Chainlink to test atomic settlement between tokenized assets and central bank money. For good use or for bad use? Well, we shall see. It's good overall for Chainlink. But I mean, what's the intention of using it? We kind of don't want CBDCs, of course. But anyway. And my last bit of news is Russia is moving to block WhatsApp and Telegram. They're restricting access to both WhatsApp and Telegram in a push to force its 100 million plus users onto a state-backed app called Max, which is owned by a subsidiary of state energy giant Rosneft. I don't know what this is. I don't know what Max is. Unlike WhatsApp and Telegram, Max has no end-to-end encryption, and it is expected to give Russian security service full access to user data. That's wonderful. You can have all your chats spied on by the government. This is exactly what the people want, right? Of course. Telegram founder Pavel Durov fired back. That's why it's important, because, you know, Toncoin. And look how great Toncoin is doing. It's just doing so beautifully today. No, always. It's actually doing really bad. $1. Dude, remember when this thing was $7? Those were the days. What even is this? We crashed to 55 cents on October 10. That's brutal. Let me go to like a weekly chart to show you the glory days of this darn token. $8.28. I was here. I saw all this happen live. I also saw this happen. No, it wouldn't have been that. It would have been this. These drops over here. When Pavel Durov got arrested in France. Remember that? Ever since then, they had to like agree to these ugly terms of the French government where, I don't know, it was weird. And then ultimately, like, people just lost faith in the decentralization of it or something. Anyways, Pavel Durov, he's always fighting for free speech and anti-censorship. So he's fired back against this, calling it an authoritarian and pointing out that Iran tried to do the same thing 8 years ago and they failed. Most Iranians still use Telegram despite the ban. That's based. Russia wants a country where every message, call, and click runs through the Kremlin's servers. It's not going to happen. The question is whether Russians will comply or find workarounds like the Iranians did. Does vContact have any, like, messaging version? I'm sure they do. I installed it for the memes and also because of standoff. They use Russian stuff, so it's big in Russia, that's why. And I had no other choice. North American servers are dead. So you have no choice but to play in Russia. But anyway, that was a thing of the past. A blast of the past. And here's his post on it all. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. What even is this? Max? What do we even do to find this? Max. HBO Max. No, that's not what I'm looking for. What do we even call this? Russian app? I can't read this. Here's the Wikipedia page. This is what it looks like. Looks like bootleg signal. MAKC Max. It's a Russian messenger and e-commerce app released by VK in 2025. Oh, there you go. I literally just talked about VK. So it is kind of partnered by them. They're using their power for evil. Did you know Pavel Durov's, what is it, his brother or his cousin is the founder of VK, which is basically, if you don't know what VK is, it's like Russian Facebook, basically. So, yeah, this app right here, VK. Who is it founded by? Please. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down, unless it says it in there. Hold on, I have my booklet here. Let me read, if I can find it. Especially when I was doing research on Toncoin. Here it is. Pavel Durov and Nikolai Durov. Yeah, founders of Telegram and VK. Russian competitor to Facebook ever since 2006. Lovely. And then it goes into the history of Ton, which, I mean, this is not a history lesson, but I can get into that if I really wanted to, but I don't really want to. So yeah, there you go. Oh, they have plans for IPO? When? 5 billion? That sucks. In October 2010. Are they on the London Stock Exchange? Hold on. VK stock. Do they have that? That's not it. This is not it. No, they don't have it. VK company. Is it VKCO? VKCO? Yeah, it doesn't exist. In 2010, though, this is what it was planned for. The Moscow Exchange, MCX. Well, I guess it does exist, but we just can't trade it or something. It's in Russian rubles. We're not going to understand the numbers. Who cares? But $5 billion valuation, that's not that large. I mean, compared to Meta right now, Meta's got maybe $1 trillion, maybe under $1 trillion. What is Meta's market cap? Oh yeah, 1.6 trillion. Yeah. Russian VK could never. So yeah, that'll be for the history books. And that is all. That is all the news I had to cover for today. There we go. We're making a big fat dollar right here. I'm just going to close this position. I'm done with it. So, okay, well, now I can't close the position. Why? What do you mean? Okay. Do I have to refresh? Is my 24 hours up and it just did an update? I don't even remember when I opened the trade. I know it was yesterday. I just don't remember what time. Oh, the position is still open. And I cannot close the position. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to wait till that force closes. Whatever, dude. Oh, now it's closed. Okay. Well, thank you. This is the lightning speed transactions that we use crypto for, by the way. So yeah, guys, that is all for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll be talking about whatever happens tomorrow. I don't think there's much importance in tomorrow specifically, but I think Friday we're getting like economic data, so inflation rate, CPI, that should be important. Tomorrow, just, I don't know, jobless claims, which will pile on to the other jobs data that we got today. So yeah. Overall thoughts on market, bearish. Don't expect a big rise either. Yeah. I mean, a rise could happen, but it's not going to be a big one either. If we do get a good rise, like super trend flipping to the green in our favor, I think we're going to be immediately met with a resistance at 80,000. And if that does happen, I will likely be closing out my position because I'm expecting a rebound from that area back to where the downside. I think we're going to be prolonging the lows for a couple, I don't want to say a couple months, maybe a couple weeks. Maybe 1 month. I don't know. I don't know how long this bear market is going to last, but at least we know for sure that we are in one, and it only lasts basically for this year. I'm sure by some point at the end of the year, close to end of year, close to midterms, this darn thing should be on the rise, because if Trump wants the votes, I mean, he better do something about the market. Probably start injecting some of his own money. Even if he does inject his own net worth. Yeah, it's only $7 billion. Dude, you're broke. Oh no, never mind. It's, what is this? After the launch of the cryptocurrency, Axios temporarily estimated his net worth to be $58 billion. What is it right now, though? As of February 2026, $6.5 billion. Yeah, it's not a lot of money. Elon is worth a lot more than Trump. Almost a trillionaire. So, yeah. This is not going to make a big difference. He is going to have to, I don't know, with the power of his words on Truth Social, make a big boy move on the crypto markets. And you better be in there for when he does that. Or maybe not. I don't know. Speculate along the way. Make your own decisions. This is not financial advice. This is the stream for tonight. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening. Don't forget to subscribe.